Hier, erste Hilfe.
Ziel Bertha erobert.
Erste Hilfe, greif zu! Erobert das Ziel dort. Wir müssen das Ziel erobern. Braucht jemand Munition? Sanitäter, da! Hier, Munition für dich! Munition für dich. Hier ist Munition. Hat jemand Munition bestellt? Falsche Munition. Munition, gerade zu.
Wir haben Einsatzziel Bertha erobert. Wir haben Einsatzziel Cäsar verloren.
Das ist schon Soldat.
In der Nähe deiner Position ist ein Flammschütze verfügbar.
Feindliches Maschinengewehr.
Wir haben Einsatzziel.
Da vorne ein Helikopter. Hier, Munition.
Wir haben Einsatzziel Bertha verloren.
Ein Schneller! Da drüben! Wir verteidigen das Ziel bis zum letzten Mann. Hier, ich habe ein bisschen Munition übrig. Munition, hier!
Wir haben Einsatzziel Emil verloren.
Feindlicher Sanitäter gesichtet.
Wir haben Einsatzziel Albert erobert.
Bin ja auf den MG gestoßen.
Wir haben Einsatzziel David verloren.
Aufpassen, ein Speer! Vorsicht! Das ist einer ihrer Soldaten! Speer! Da drüben ist der Sanitäter! Ist ein feindlicher Sanitäter! Granate ist raus! Kämpfe weiter! Das Ziel da! Erobern! Hilfe für dich!
Wir haben Einsatzziel Cäsar verloren.
Ich hab jetzt einen Treffer! Das ist einer ihrer Speer!
Wir haben Einsatzziel
Hier,
Cäsar haben Einsatzziel Cäsar verloren. Wir haben Einsatzziel Emil erobert. Wir haben Einsatzziel David erobert.
Erste Hilfe, jetzt schon. Für dich, Kamerad. Erste Hilfe. Granate raus.
Wir haben das Einsatzziel Albert verloren.
Ziel erobern. Los doch. Augen auf. Sanitäter. Braucht jemand erste Hilfe?
Einsatzziel Emil erobert. Wir haben Einsatzziel Bertha verloren. Wir haben Einsatzziel Albert erobert. Wir haben Einsatzziel David verloren.
Taktiker, Sanitäter! Das Ziel dort erobern.
Einsatzziel Cäsar erobert. verlieren.
Ah, feindlicher Sturmsoldat!
Wir haben Einsatzziel Bertha erobert.
Sanitäter gesichtet! Seht ihr den? Sturmsoldat!
Wir verlieren Einsatzziel Cäsar.
Capturez l'objectif!
Wir haben Einsatzziel David erobert. Wir haben Einsatzziel Emil erobert.
Lance une grenade! Attention!
Wir haben Einsatzziel Bertha erobert. Wir haben Einsatzziel David erobert. haben Einsatzziel Emil verloren.
Une trousse de secours pour toi.
Wir verlieren Einsatzziel Albert.
Capturez l'objectif. Soldat d'assaut ennemi. Restez en alerte.
Wir haben Einsatzziel Cäsar erobert.
Tiens, une trousse de secours.
Wir haben Einsatzziel David erobert.
Capturez cet objectif. J'ai un soldat d'assaut en vue. Capturez l'objectif.
Wir verlieren Einsatzziel Emil.
Voilà, une trousse de secours.
Wir verlieren Einsatzziel David.
On peut pas perdre l'objectif. Défendez-le.
Wir verlieren Einsatzziel Emil.
Ça flotte cette trousse de secours.
David verloren. Wir haben Einsatzziel David erobert. Wir verlieren Einsatzziel Cäsar.
Capture l'objectif!
Wir haben Einsatzziel Cäsar verloren.
Capturez l'objectif! Un médecin par là!
Wir haben Einsatzziel Emil erobert. Wir haben Einsatzziel Bertha verloren. Halbzeit. Der Feind hat die Oberhand. Wir haben Einsatzziel Emil verloren. Wir haben Einsatzziel David erobert. Wir verlieren Einsatzziel David.
Voilà,
Der Feind
une trousse de
kontrolliert
secours.
alle Einsatzziele.
On a lancé. Attention. Une trousse de secours pour toi. Une trousse de secours pour toi. Je vais soigner ça. Tu m'as sauvé. T'es blessé? Je vais te soigner.
So today I wanted to talk about social anxiety. I'm going to come at this from two angles. The first is through perspective, and the second is through responsibility and projection. So, an analogy from my first angle. Imagine that you're driving down the road, and at some point you get to just an empty field, and you want to clear your head. You're tired of all the anxiety and the stress you have from your job and from your family or from whatever business you have. You just want to walk around and clear your head. So you leave and you walk about 1 or 2 miles down in an empty field, and at some point you see a fence. You walk up to the fence, and as you get closer to the fence, you see that there's barbed wire at the top of the fence. When you see the barbed wire, you're really close to it, and you see that there's a bunch of people inside with orange jumpsuits on, surrounded by armed guards. They're talking to one another, they're lifting weights, they're laughing, they're joking, and when you get up to the fence, one of the people says, "Are you lost?" And you go, "No, I'm just walking around enjoying myself," and then the guy inside goes, "Man, it looks to me like you're in prison." Now, to you, this may seem weird. They're clearly inside of an enclosed area they cannot leave. They're surrounded by armed guards, and you're just walking around enjoying your day. You are free, but you have to think about it. You have to think about perspective. From their perspective, they're having the normal conversations they usually have. They're doing the things that they're used to doing, and they're looking through a fence. And they look up and they see barbed wire. So if they're enjoying themselves and you're just walking around, kind of not really sure where you're going, it's very reasonable for them to imagine that you are the one in prison. Here, it's an issue of perspective. As long as there's no ceiling, as long as we're outside, it very well could be that you are the one in prison. Now, the thing with perspective and how this relates to social anxiety is that I find that many of the people who are going to accuse you of having social anxiety, who are going to say that you're socially awkward, you're socially weird, why are you so anxious, why are you nervous, are going to be people who they themselves are nervous, who they themselves are inside the prison of caring what other people think of them. And this is one of the things that I talk about when it comes to projection, that other people often project onto you their own issues. This happens everywhere in modern society. An example recently was with this company where the CTO fired a junior developer. This was on the front page of Reddit about a month ago because he wound up deleting or destroying their production database. Now, the junior developer may have made some mistakes here, but the real burden of liability, the serious issue lies with the fact that production credentials were included in some type of training manual or beginner's manual, and that a junior developer on their first day even has the permissions or credentials or ability to delete your entire database, which is not properly backed up. Rather than the CTO take responsibility or accountability for their failings, they projected their failings onto the new employee, fired them, said that they had ruined everything, and made it appear as if everything was their fault. It's commonplace in modern society for people in places of authority to blame others for their problems and their failings and their shortcomings. This is particularly evident in the public school system. You'll have a teacher that fails at getting across a concept to a student. They fail at creating a lesson plan that is engaging. They fail at understanding how a young mind absorbs.
Mit Wix könnt ihr eure eigene professionelle Website erstellen, um zu zeigen, was ihr so drauf habt. Und wie ich meine erstellt habe, das zeige ich euch.
Hi, so today what I'm reading is not a comment that I read online. It's actually a letter that I got from from an ex-employee that I
Hi,
fired
so
about
today I'd
2
like to
years
talk
ago,
about
and
internships and employees.
in this letter also came a brand new S5 phone, not like a dual core, a quad core, brand new in box S5 phone from somebody that I fired. And this honestly, I wasn't having the best of days today. I fixed like one board all day. Nothing that I was trying to do today went right. I wasn't able to sleep well last night. And, you know, to come to work to a gift wrap box from somebody that I had fired, I was expecting to find dog manure. And I was expecting to find like a dead frog or cat piss or something. And I was actually opening it very slowly. So to get this with this note, which I'm going to read, really, it honestly did make my day. Hey, Lewis. Happy whatever holiday you celebrate. Before you get excited, there is a good and bad thing about this phone. This is the international version, so it doesn't have North American LTE. Please do not try to solder out the basebands and replacing it to get LTE. You are going to fry the phone. Unlike Europe pairs, there is no warranty on gifts. But let's face it, you're not going to go anywhere without Wi-Fi anyway. But it does have a quad-core chip instead of the BS dual-core chip. You can think of this gift a couple of ways. 1, as payment for all the logic board lessons. 2, you can see it as a rebate for all the hours of YouTube video I watched at your employment. Or you can show me the security footage of X's face at your store after you tell him I'm doing really well and making over, I'm not going to reveal his finances, but a good deal of money a month. Or you can just put my address in the boxes of your Retina screens that you have coming in. Choice is all yours. P.S. I told my coworker you're good at Street Fighter and he wants to play you. He said if he wins, you're selling the Retina to us for $300, and if we lose, he will pay $500 for them. I told him if he wins, you will sell the Retina to us for $300, and if I win, that he's fired. Sincerely, your best employee, X, a.k.a. the only real tech that other guy referred to before ever hired. And this is cool, and it's just kind of, I want to drive a point home with this, you know. I try to, even though I seem like an asshole in these videos and I seem like an impatient, jackass, judgmental douchebag, in real life, like in real life in my dealings with people, I do my best to actually help all the people that I come into contact with so long as they are willing to help themselves. And even if I am firing somebody, most of the time, unless you've stolen or you've just done something really messed up, I'm not firing you or getting rid of you with like malice. It's because I've truly tried everything to make this work and it hasn't. And just because it wasn't able to work doesn't mean that like I hate you or that I'm mistreating you or that I know you're only going to be here for a week, so I'm just going to torture you and treat you like crap. And in this particular instance, this guy did get fired because I would come in and nothing would have been fixed. And he was watching YouTube all day for like good money. But anyway, the point here is, you know, what this really drove home to me when I opened this box and instead of seeing a dead frog or cat piss, I saw a quad-core smartphone, which is brand new and sealed, was it really pays to try to do the right thing by people. And again, there are people who are lazy. Like yesterday, I actually got a status update on YouTube. Like somebody said, so do you have a status update on the question I asked you? It's like, suck a dick. Like, it's Thanksgiving. This is free advice. Like, nobody in this field even wants to give status updates for paying customers. And you're asking for a status update for free advice? No. Anyway, point being, like, a lot of people, I really don't care if they don't like me because they're just being silly. But for the most part, for the people that I work with, for the clients, for the employees, for the vendors, these are people that I will go above and beyond to treat my idea fair. Having a bad day and coming to work after a bad day to see that I have a brand new quad-core phone, that thing that retails for like $500-700 new in box, that's pretty cool because, you know, I know a lot of, you know, again, a lot of the people that I've hired came from other places where they were treated like crap, where they could see the owner get shot in the head with an arrow and they just wouldn't blink an eye or to shed a tear because they were just treated like slaves. So, you know, sometimes I kind of wonder if I am treating people the right way, because recently I have had to fire some people where it was one of my projects where I thought, just because you're on this level doesn't mean you're stuck there. Just because you had hard times in life doesn't mean you're stuck here. I think I can take you to here, and I'm going to try my best to do it. And I failed, and I felt so fucked up and bad and terrible about it. And, you know, these are things that I'm going to have to do in the future. And it doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel good. There's nothing worse than telling somebody, you're not up to the standards I need to do what I need you to do. Therefore, you're going to have to find another pay to pay your rent. It's just a shitty conversation to have, especially when you hire somebody when you see that potential in them for greatness to do something good. You know, seeing that I fired somebody and they actually got me a top of the line smartphone as a gift a year and a half later, that's just really cool. So I gotta say thank you for that. And it was worth making a video to read this. And again, I don't ask for donations. I don't ask for you to get me things. I don't ask, just because I put up videos on how to do things and how to do things nobody else shows you how to do, and just because I let people in and show them how everything works, I don't expect you to pay me. I just do this because deep down on the inside, I'm just kind of like a big kid that just is so excited to be doing this stuff that I just like showing it off, even if I am showing it off to literally my direct competitor is 5 blocks away. I don't charge for this. I don't feel like charging for it. But the whole idea here is when you put that goodwill out into the world, when you're always trying to do good things, when you're trying to treat people nicely, not because you expect something in return, but just because you feel like you're contributing to there being less douche out there in the world, really cool things happen. And, when it comes time to get a business loan, when it comes time to have, to move commercial spaces to a new one, you bet your ass that a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of somebody you fired is going to be on the board of that complex and decide we don't want this business there as a store. You bet your ass that a friend of an uncle, of a cousin or whatever, of somebody that you were an asshole to when you didn't have to be an asshole to them, and you did not have to be an asshole to them, is going to be the person that says, you know what? This guy's business model makes sense, but that guy was a prick, so I'm going to give the business loan to this guy, even though his credit score is 100 less. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like in the real world, how far you get is very often dependent on these little like 5 to 20 second situations and these little 5 to 20 second encounters that you have that are often based on the silliest things. Again, it's not how nice you were to the bank executive. It's not how nice you were to the broker or the owner of the building. It was how nice you were to her daughter's sister's cousin's friend 5 years ago. And this is kind of a reminder today that even for some of the things I've done that I'm not really happy about, that at the end of the day I haven't put as much negative energy out into the world with the people that I choose to work with as I sometimes think I've had to. And it makes me feel like in some small convoluted way that the way I treat people that work for me is actually kind of right. And that's kind of cool. So, thank you for the letter. Hi, so today I wanted to give you a bit of an update on a new website. So a lot of you have been saying that I should get myself a new website and that you could probably afford it. Why not just do it? And you're right, my website does look dated, and even the recent one that I redid look kind of crappy. And it's very close to the reason that Eli, the computer guy, gives to why he doesn't want to have somebody paint his house. He wants to paint his own house. It's not that he doesn't have the $10,000. It's not that he's not happy to give away the $10,000. Somebody will do a good job. He knows the way it works. He's going to give a contractor $10,000. That contractor is going to do a terrible job. He's going to work with the contractor, but the contractor is going to keep doing a terrible job and have no sense of shame or dignity. That contractor is going to get fired, and then Eli is going to have to paint his own house, except now he's mad and he's out $10,000. The same is true with my website. I would be more than happy to pay $5,000 or $10,000 to somebody who can make me a real website. But that's not the way it's going to work. I'm going to give them that $5,000, that $10,000. They're going to make me something that looks like what I linked to below. They're going to have no sense of personal shame or dignity when I ask them, hey, if you were me and your business relied on customers trusting you and this was what you presented to them, what would you say to the person who presented it to them? And they just laugh at you. You know, you're going to have to make your own website. I'm going to have to wind up suing the person. As occurred here in the City Court of Olean. And then I'm going to wind up having to sue you to get my check, which I just got today. See right over here from the Dembski Group for the $2,300 deposit I paid on that $4,600 kindergarten ass scribble that he calls a website. Now, the reason I want to do a video on this is because I want to discuss privilege and I want to discuss autonomy. A lot of people seem to have this idea that the world happens to them. When there is an injustice, when something does not seem fair, when things are not going the way that they want or the way that they paid to have them go, when you're taking a class and it winds up being a complete waste and the professor doesn't care, when you pay for a service and you don't get it, when you buy a product and it shows up and it doesn't work, or it works for 13 months and then dies, and then the manufacturer says, fuck you, even though it costs 3 times as much as everybody else. Is like, I wonder what company has a history of doing that. Now, people just say, hey, who gives a shit? Well, I give a shit. I don't think that this passive speak does anybody any good. It reinforces the idea that we have no control over our own life, that the world happens to us. Oh, you don't understand how it is. Oh, this is just the way this. Oh, well, even if I did do something, there's nothing I could do. Well, I probably won't win. I'll waste time doing that. They probably won't like me if I do that. Blah, 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 blah. There's all this speak. What does it mean? You don't understand how it is. Oh, well, they're just going to win anyway. Where do you enter the equation at all? Where do you enter that equation as someone who is living your own life, as somebody who has any control over your own life? Because if you believe, here's the thing, if you believe that you're not going to win, you lost. I find that so many people are afraid of failure. They're afraid of feeling dumb. They're afraid of feeling petty. They're afraid of feeling like they wasted their time in the pursuit of something that they were not going to win. And they think that if they just don't pursue it, that they won't lose. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you don't pursue it, that you've failed by default. You already lost just by not trying. Don't look at it like, well, I could fail. No, you've already failed if you're letting yourself get screwed without doing something. And this was a pain in the ass. This was a big pain in the ass. I dealt with this person on the phone for a few days before they seemed to understand everything I was looking for. They could repeat it back to me. They knew what I valued. And then I gave them money. And when it comes to contractors, it's funny how quickly it goes downhill as soon as you give a deposit. And then I gave them money. And they produced for me this complete, wiped their ass with it and presented it as homework piece of shit that I don't even want to concede the vocabulary by calling it a bad website. because it's kind of like calling something that blows up in your face a bad repair. Like, no, that's not a bad repair. That's a bomb. This was not a website. This was a fucking joke. And you know, after going back and forth, it wasn't going anywhere. So I went to my small claims city court building. And after about an hour of being redirected, this is not my office, this is not my job, I don't cover this, is not my department, blah, blah, blah. I meet somebody whose department it finally is. But they can't help me because this is outside the 5 boroughs. So I looked at them and I said, if you were me, what would you do? Now, I don't want to waste your time, I'm sorry, but if you were me, just give me an idea what you would do. You're probably lost. I wouldn't do anything. I'd give up. And I said, okay, besides that, well, like plan B, what's plan B? And they said, I would say go to the city county clerk's office or the whatever court commercial claims office in the county of that business, which I did. And I got a court date over here that you can see in Olean, which I had to pay for. This is $32.02 I wasted on this to get a court date on December 21st, a few days before the holiday. And right after I got this, not after I threatened to sue, not after I said I was suing, but only at the point that the papers were actually delivered to this individual, compelling them to show up in court, did I get my check for $2,300. Now, everybody along the way, 99% of the people that I talked to said, don't bother. And they were using all that passive language on me. They were saying, you're probably not going to win. This is going to be a waste of time. They always win. You don't know how it works. You don't understand how the system works. All that passive language. When I say passive language, I mean language where the world is kind of happening to you. I don't, everything else is happening out there, and I'm just this spectator of my own life that has no control over it. And a lot of the people giving me that advice are smarter than me. If I had listened to that, I would be sitting here probably working rather than drinking a Serono and celebrating my $2,300 re-entering my bank account. There's something to be said about this level of passive language. If you have paid for a product that you have received that was 3 times as much as everybody else's product that just so happened to fail on the 13th month, in spite of costing 2 to 3 times as much as everybody else that claimed to be better than, don't just say that's just how it is. Do something about it. Tell people not to buy it. Protest the company. Anything. If you're taking a class with somebody who you're paying money to, who is supposed to be teaching you something, who's not teaching you something, who's a bad professor, who's in a tenured system where they can't get fired. Don't just say, oh, they can't get fired, or, oh, I guess there's not much that I can do, or you don't know how college. No. Do something. This is your life. You are a student. You are the owner of this product. And if you paid a fuckface like this guy, then you have a right to get what you paid for. And if you didn't get what you paid for, then get in the driver's seat of your life and do what you have to do to get what you paid back. Even if you're afraid that you're not going to win it, even if you're afraid that it's not going to go the way you want, or that you're going to feel bad after it's done, you're in the driver's seat of your own life. Don't let somebody else drive it into the ground for you. Now, when it comes to the topic of privilege, the reason that I bring this up is because over the past year or two, it's gotten more and more popular that more and more people talk about privilege, and whether it's earned or unearned, whether you worked 16 to 18 hours a day and work your balls off and failed numerous times and were on a diet where you were eating apples because that was the only thing that you could buy for like $1 or 89 cents a day or whatever for a while, and still, regardless of what path you took to get there. If you have some level of privilege, there's the question of what do you do with that? Well, in modern society, the answer to that is typically feel bad, let everybody step on you, don't talk, don't share an idea, and be shameful or be ashamed. And I've always said, fuck that to that. that entire concept. When it comes to the question of what do you do with privilege, my answer has been make sure that you're doing something with it that makes up for the fact that somebody's missing out on what you have. Well, what do I mean by that? That means that you need to try and pass it forward. Okay, so you have something great that's happened to you that may have not happened to somebody else. What do you do as a result of that? You try to push the ball forward, push the species forward, push morality and ethics.
Thomas Papajewski möchte ein altes Schmuckstück anbieten, das jede Menge Fragen aufwirft.
Ich habe den Ring verschiedenen Juwelieren vorgeführt, aber sehr unterschiedliche Aussagen zum Wert und zum Alter bekommen. Daher ist es für mich sehr wichtig, eine vernünftige Expertise mal zu bekommen.
Da ist unsere Schmuckexpertin Frau Dr. Heide Rezipazabel doch genau die richtige Anlaufstelle.
Guten Tag.
Schönen guten Tag, ich bin Thomas Papajewski aus Berlin.
Hallo.
Hallo, Herr Papajewski.
Hallo, Herr Lichter.
Das freut mich aber sehr.
Gerne, Thomas.
Thomas, das freut mich noch mehr. Thomas, du bist gar nicht so klein geblieben.
Nein,
Ne?
ich bin fast 2 Meter groß.
Fast 2 Meter
Ja.
groß. Also ich bin ja so ein, wie soll man sagen, also wenn ich weit weg bin, sehe ich groß aus. Lass mal das. Blödsinn. Du hast einen, ja, mein lieber Herr Gesangsverein, sag mal, Thomas.
Der macht was her.
Ja, das ist ein schönes Stück, wie ich finde.
Ja,
es,
aber
ist
hallo.
Es ist ein Erbstück, in 3. Generation jetzt. Und ich habe leider niemand in der Familie, der damit sich schmücken möchte.
Ja, ich denke mal, bist du verheiratet oder hast keine Ehe?
Ich bin nicht verheiratet, habe aber eine Lebensgefährtin, eine Feste. Also
Und die will auch nicht haben.
die will ihn auch nicht haben, ja.
Du Mensch, weißt du was? Weißt du, was wir machen, Thomas? Wir hören uns gleich eine coole Expertise an. Und dann machst du was Schönes für dich. Oder hast du was
Das
Besonderes
wär
mit dem
schön.
Geld vor?
Ja, wir wollen ein bisschen in unseren Garten investieren.
Ist das so dein Hobby?
So ein
Garten?
bisschen Garten, ein bisschen Motorrad fahren, also von jedem etwas.
Motorradfahren?
Ja,
Feiner Kerl, Thomas.
Ja, danke.
Heide, wie alt, schätzt du, ist der Ring?
Der Gestaltung, dem Schliff nach und der Farbe auch des Goldes nach ist er um 1900 zu datieren. Und zwar, ich fange mal mit der Ringschiene an, aus Vierkantstäben aufgebaut, hier 4 nebeneinander, die durch Querstege miteinander verbunden sind, in Roségold. Und diese Art der Gestaltung, die kennt man eigentlich eher von Armreifen aus dem Ende des 19. Jahrhunderts, die maschinell gearbeitet werden und dann eben leiterartig miteinander verbunden sind. Und dieses Design hat offensichtlich der Goldschmied hier als Bandring für diesen Ring übernommen. Gefasst ist hier in Krabben ein Diamant mit einer stattlichen Größe, ein Altschliff-Diamant. Und im Durchmesser hat er schon mal eine Größe von ca. 1,9 Karat. Ich kann Ihnen ja nur annäherungsweise das Gewicht angeben, weil er gefasst ist. Aber in der Tiefe ist er im Gegensatz zu einem modernen Brillantschliff tiefer. Sagen wir mal so, er hat eine höhere Tiefe. Und von daher hat er eine Tiefe hier von einem 3,1 Karäter. Also
Mein
irgendwo liegt er bei um 2 Karat im Gewicht. Die Reinheit ist ganz gut. Ich würde hier sagen VS-Bereich, Very Small Inclusions. Ich könnte annehmen, dass hier noch Einschlüsse unter den Krabben vorliegen. Das kann ich im gefassten Zustand nicht so beurteilen. Also gehe ich von einer guten Reinheit aus. Also nicht sehr guten, sondern guten. Die Farbe ist leicht getönt. Also wir sind hier im Bereich JK, Crystal sagt man in alten Bezeichnungen.
Ist es Gold? Hast du eine Punze entdeckt? Oder?
Ich habe keine Punze entdeckt, aber ich bin ganz sicher, dass es Gold ist. Schon aus dem Grunde, weil es eine wirklich stattliche Größe hat. Und ich gehe auch von 14 Karat aus, also 585, weil das Gold auch eine gewisse Härte haben muss, um den Stein überhaupt zu halten.
Heide, jetzt habe ich eine Frage. Du gehst von 14 Karat aus. Ich muss nur für mich wissen, wenn es jetzt aber 750er Gold wäre, macht das wahnsinnig viel nachher im Wert aus?
Genau 15 Euro.
Dann lassen wir das auch so fallen.
Genau, das
meine
können wir
liebe Heide.
vernachlässigen.
Gut,
Ja.
das freut mich sehr. Mein lieber Thomas,
Ja.
wie viel Geld willst du haben?
Ich habe gehört 5.000 Euro, ich habe gehört 3.000 Euro. Also
Ja, sag doch mal, was du haben möchtest, so aus dem Bauch raus.
ich denke mal Minimum 3.000.
Minimum 3.000.
Ist
Thomas, das
so
lassen wir
meine
mal.
ungefähre Vorstellung.
Thomas,
Ja,
bei mir darf man alles sagen.
ja, ich weiß.
Alles, alles. Gut. Meine liebe Heide, was sagst du zu 3.000 Euro?
Der sollte schon auf dem Markt 5 bis 5,5 bringen.
Nein.
Ja.
Das hört sich sehr gut an.
Thomas,
Ja,
Ich sehe schon, wie du mit dem Moped, frisch geputzt aus der Inspektion, mitten auf dem Rasen mit deiner Süßen im Liegestuhl siehst und was Schönes trinkst. Du, eine Sensation. Aber
Vielen Dank.
jetzt hätte ich beinahe vor lauter Aufregung das Wichtigste vergessen. Ohne
das wäre
Händler,
schön.
ja, ohne Händlerkärtchen kommst du nicht rein. Auch wenn du groß bist, aber wir haben stabilere davor stehen.
Vielen Dank.
Viel Vergnügen bei den Händlern.
Ja, danke schön.
Bitte schön.
Das nehme ich wieder mit.
Ihnen.
Vielen
Da
Dank
geht's
für die
rüber.
Expertise.
Tschüss, Thomas.
Danke. Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Ich sehe eigentlich ziemlich gute Chancen, weil es ein schönes Stück ist und weil er vielfältig einsetzbar ist.
Ob diese Argumente bei den Händlern ziehen? Der Ring ist zwar antik, aber sind die Händler bereit dafür, so tief in die Tasche zu greifen?
Schönen guten Tag, hallo.
Hallo.
Einen schönen guten Tag.
So eine starke Kerle, so.
Ja, so ein großer Kerl und so eine kleine Schachtel.
Kann
Ich habe
aber
ein
auch teuer werden.
kleines, funkelndes Stück mitgebracht.
Ja, das war nett. Dankeschön.
Ich sag ja, das kann auch teuer werden.
Ja.
Sieht erstmal teuer aus.
Ja, dann lassen
Wahrscheinlich-
wir erstmal die Susi drüber
Lass
gucken.
mal als
Die
allererstes
sagt
die
uns
Susi drüber gucken.
das. Ich denn meine
Wo haben Sie denn den Ring her? Das sieht nicht aus, als wäre der mal an Ihrem Finger gewesen.
Nein, das ist ein Erbstück. Das ist von Großeltern, Eltern und jetzt ist er bei mir gelandet.
Okay.
Ein schöner Diamant im Altschliff. Auch eine sehr, sehr gute Reinheit. Von der Farbe ein bisschen gelblich leider. Ich schätze knapp 2 Karat und auch sehr, sehr alt. Auch die Fassung ist alt. Hübsch. Schönes
Also-
Erbstück.
Ja,
Wenn die Susi das schon mal so sagt, dann ist er doch was wert.
Sollte so aus den 20er Jahren stammen vielleicht,
Um
1920.
so
1900.
um 1900 soll der
Okay.
Stein sein.
Anhand des Schliffes kann man das sehr gut einordnen eigentlich.
Ja, wo fangen wir denn da an?
Pah.
So, damit wir jetzt mal an die Zahlen kommen, 1000 € starte ich mal.
Ja,
Toller Stein.
das ist auch nur was für einen kleinen Finger, ne? Na, wobei, na, lieber nicht.
Man kann ihn auch größer machen, das ist nicht
Ja,
so
so.
gut.
Ja, der ist schon hübsch.
Das ist ein Hingucker auf jeden Fall.
Ja.
Ja. Die
Gefällt mir.
Susanne ist so ruhig. Da kommt noch was.
Ich sag noch 1,5.
Oh, so ein gut großer Sprung.
Was sagen Sie zu 1,5?
Nein, das ist mir.
Wie hoch war die Schätzung denn?
Die Schätzung war bei 5.000 bis 5.500 €.
Ui.
Ja, jetzt hat aber gut gemeint.
Tja, das sehe ich leider nicht aufgrund der Farbe. Und Altstift werden mit 50% gehandelt.
Ich gebe das Geld leider für einen Altstift-Diamant nicht aus.
Ich bin da auch raus. Susi?
Im Verkauf sehe ich maximal 2.000,
Dann
2,5. Deswegen kommen wir ja nicht ins Geschäft. Aber schön, dass Sie hier waren.
Herzlichen Dank, dass Sie hier gewesen sind. Schade, dass es nicht geklappt hat. Alles Gute für Sie, ja?
Dankeschön.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen. Tschüss.
Tschö.
Ich werde den Ring aufheben und hoffe, dass er irgendwann einmal noch mehr wert wird.